Welcome to QLeave's information session for employers in the community services industry. Today's session will go through some background information about the new Portable Long Service Leave scheme. We will look at details on eligibility and scope, provide some practical scenarios about how the scheme will work, and give details of where you can go to access more information. If you would like to attend the webinar in person, please go to our website www.qleave.qld.gov.au and register for an upcoming session. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land on which we meet and pay my respect to elders past, present and emerging. So how did we get here today? In 2017, the Palaszczuk government committed to investigate the feasibility of a community services sector long service leave scheme. The Office of Industrial Relations consulted with industry stakeholders, including employer associations, unions, peak industry bodies and service providers. The consultation process indicated broad, in-principle support for a scheme in the sector. The Office of Industrial Relations compiled a Stakeholder Taskforce that was comprised of a range of associations representing workers and employers. They also sought input from stakeholders in schemes in ACT and Victoria. This consultation process led to the development of a bill. The bill was first put to Parliament in 2019. The Act was then assented on the 22nd of June 2020. QLeave was established on the 1st of July 1992 to provide portable long service leave benefits for Queensland's building and construction industry. We were established in response to decades of campaigning by industry bodies, unions and workers who until 1992 were often disadvantaged as the nature of their work meant that they were unlikely to be employed in the continuous service needed to earn long service leave. We now have around 300,000 workers and over 22,000 employers in the scheme. We've paid out over $1 billion in long service leave claims since the scheme started. On the 1st of July 2005, we also started providing a similar scheme for Queensland's contract cleaning industry. Today there are more than 50,000 workers and nearly 1,000 employers in the cleaning scheme. On the 1st of January 2021, the Portable Long Service Leave scheme for Queensland's community services industry will start. Each of our schemes are administered in accordance with the governing legislation. QLeave is also governed by 3 individual boards who each report to the Minister. The Community Services Industry Board has directors who represent QCOS, the Community Services Industry Alliance, Community Legal Centres Queensland, the Services Union and the Australian Workers Union. On this map you can see where portable long service leave schemes operate across Australia. All states and territories have portable long service leave for the construction industry. In ACT and Victoria, there are community service schemes. The additional benefit of having these schemes is that Queensland workers can move to a different state or territory and keep their Queensland entitlement. That way, they can accrue service in their new jurisdiction and join it together with their Queensland service when they are ready to make a claim. Now let's look at why the scheme is so important. The community services sector identified that many of their workers were missing out on paid leave entitlements. A portable long service leave scheme provides workers with access to a long service leave entitlement in an industry such as this one, which is characterised by high job insecurity and mobility, and the work is reliant on recurrent rounds of funding. As mentioned, the Office of Industrial Relations established a task force to assist with the details of the legislation. The task force represented peak bodies and unions across the sector. Its purpose was to reach consensus across the sector on a number of elements of the scheme, including that the scheme would have broad coverage of a range of workers, including those in support and supervision roles, that there would be no retrospective service recognised, that due to the range of agreements currently available to workers in the sector, the scheme would provide for access to long service leave after 7 years of service recorded with QLeave. And finally, that the employer levy rate would be determined by an actuarial assessment. The starting levy rate was decided to be 1.35%. So a quick overview of what you need to know about the new scheme. Firstly, this scheme applies to all employers who provide a community service in Queensland. These employers need to register with QLeave so their workers can start to accrue long service leave. The scheme starts on the 1st of January 2021. This means that on the 14th of April 2021, you will need to submit your first employer return and pay the QLeave levy. Your return will include a list of all of your workers and the ordinary wages that you've paid them for the period from the 1st of January 2021 till the 31st of March 2021. You will need to submit your return on QLeave's website, which you will have access to next year. The system is currently being built so that you will be able to pull the required data out of your payroll system and load it into QLeave's online service area. We will keep you updated with the data that will be required for this return. Once your return is complete, QLeave will add the service to your workers' records. The levy that you pay will be collected and invested so that the accumulated funds can be used to pay the workers' long service leave claims in the future. When a worker has recorded 7 years of service with QLeave, they are entitled to 6.1 weeks of paid long service leave. Now let's look at who's eligible to join the new portable long service leave scheme. Essentially, all workers in Queensland's community services sector who perform community services work or support, supervise or manage the provision of community services in Queensland are eligible to join the scheme. This includes workers who are full-time, part-time or casual, those who are engaged under a contract for service, including labour hire workers that operate as sole traders, and people working for both for-profit and not-for-profit organisations. And there are some workers in the community services sector who will not be eligible to join the new portable long service leave scheme. These include Commonwealth, state and local government workers, workers who perform work that's not related to the purpose of providing community services, workers in standalone childcare and early childhood education centres, including kindergartens and school-based childcare services, and workers employed in aged care in a nursing home or retirement village delivered by a standalone aged care provider or service. Let's have a look at how the scheme will apply for different workers. In scenario 1, we have a worker, Jenny. She is with the same employer before and after the scheme starts. She is able to make a claim for long service leave after 10 years with her current employer. When she makes a claim in 2025, she will claim directly from her employer, as she has accrued her whole entitlement with them. That employer can then claim a reimbursement from QLeave for the part of the entitlement that the worker has accrued since the 1st of January 2021. Please note, QLeave reimburses at the legislated accrual rate, which is 6.1 weeks for 7 years of service. Here's an example where the worker's entitlement is truly portable. In this scenario, the worker Dave has multiple shorter periods of employment. He also takes a year out of the community services sector to travel. Dave can claim long service leave directly from QLeave in 2029, as he will have recorded 7 years of service since the 1st of January 2021. He will not claim from his employer, as he will not have reached his long service leave entitlement with them. You'll note this worker had a 1-year break. QLeave's legislation allows workers to have up to 4 consecutive years out of the sector where they are not recording any service. During this time, although they will not be accruing an entitlement, their registration will be held. After 4 years, QLeave will contact them and ask them to show that they're still working in the sector. If not, their registration will be cancelled. In this scenario, we see a worker whose long service leave entitlement with their employer is more beneficial than the one provided by QLeave's legislation. In this case, the worker can claim long service leave after only 5 years of service with their employer. This worker will claim their long service leave directly from their employer. The employer can then claim reimbursement for the part of the entitlement accrued with QLeave since the 1st of January 2021. This scenario will help your workers understand how the scheme will work for them. It's important that they realise the only part of their long service leave entitlement that is portable is the piece they have accrued with QLeave after the 1st of January 2021. In this scenario, the worker leaves the employer before they've reached an entitlement with QLeave or an entitlement with that employer. Please note that in this case, Jo would only have 1 year of service that is portable. Essentially, she will forfeit any entitlement that she accrued with her employer before the scheme started in January 2021. We will be sure that we communicate this message clearly with workers once they are registered with QLeave. We are currently in the awareness and education phase of our engagement program. Peak bodies and other associations have been very helpful in disseminating information to employers and workers who will be covered by the new scheme. We will continue to work with employers to ensure that all organisations are registered and supported with completing their first employer return due in April 2021. Our website is the primary source of content for the new scheme. We have a dedicated community services section on this site. A series of YouTube videos is also available for workers and employers. Please encourage your workers to visit our site if they are seeking more information about the scheme. Employers can now pre-register with the scheme using our online form. Guides are also available that will assist you with determining eligibility of your workers. Once the scheme is up and running, all transactions, including employer return lodgement and levy payment, will occur through our website. Our phone lines and chatbot are now set up to support community services inquiries. So now for a short overview of next steps to get ready for portable long service leave. Firstly, if you haven't already pre-registered, please do so. It's a simple and quick online process and will ensure you are kept up to date and contacted once QLeave's online services are ready in the new year. Once this is done, we will contact you with your login details. In March, we will contact you again to let you know that your return is due on the 14th of April. At this time, we will provide another series of webinars and information tools to support you with the return process. Once you've completed your return, we will start to contact your workers directly. We will let them know that your organisation has registered them with QLeave. At this time, they will also be provided with access to online services and encouraged to log in and check their service record is complete and accurate. Thank you for watching this session. You can see our contact details here for further information. Please continue to visit the website and ensure that you've pre-registered with QLeave to keep up to date with the latest information and resources. Thanks for your time.